Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Welcome back to another Simple Sundays project, and this is actually a follow-up to last week's Simple Sundays project, where I said that I would show you how to step up these really simple bags that we made. So if you've not seen the original video where I made these bags, then pop back to last week's Simple Sundays project, the 16th of January that was, 2022, and you'll see how I made the bag in the first place, using very little stuff, as I called it. But I did say I would be back later in the week to show you a stepped up version, but here we are at Sunday, so it's now another Simple Sundays project. So we're going to make exactly the same bag again, but we're just going to step it up and let you see how some changes can enhance your project just a little bit. So we are going to be using a little bit more stuff in this video. So we want, again, a piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper, and for this project I'm actually using the oh gosh, it's escaped me, the Simply Elegant designer series paper. It's a specialty paper, and it's another paper from the 2021 to 22 annual catalogue. So I'll just let you see, these are absolutely gorgeous. Basic black, basic grey, whisper white and very vanilla, with some bits of gold and silver added, are the colours for this. Absolutely gorgeous papers. I'll just start at the back. You've got the foiling on one side and it's plainer on the other, and I'm just thinking now, is whisper white one of the colours in this? I've started to doubt myself already. Yes, basic black, basic grey, very vanilla and whisper white. I was right. So let's just quickly go through these. These are just beautiful papers, really beautiful. As I say, foiled on one side, plain on the other. Plenty of choice, whether it's a lady or a gentleman that you're going to be making a project for. That is just beautiful, and I think that's more bronze than gold, but with silver on it too. There we are. Okay, and today's paper is this sheet here. That's what I'm going to be using. Again, a non-directional paper, which all of these patterns really are. Excuse me while I almost fall off my chair trying to pick up the cellophane bag for that, because I'm rolling my seat over my chair over the top of it, so it'll just keep crinkling. So this is what we're going to use today, and as I say, we're going to step it up a little bit. So we're going to use a little bit more stuff, but we're going to make the bag in exactly the same way. So while we drew lines with a ruler and a pencil on the last bags, we're just going to use our Simply scoring tool this time round. So we're going to score at 3 inches on the first side. It's 12 by 12, so it doesn't really matter which side you start on. So we're going to score at 3 inches on both sides, and again that just makes sure that the panels are exactly the same size. We're going to be folding those into the middle. Then once you've done that scoring, turn it round to the other side, and we're going to score at 5 inches on both sides. There we go. So turning it back round, the other way you can do it if you want is score it at 3 inches and 9 inches on that first side, and then when you turn it round to the second side, you also have the option of scoring it at 5 and 7 if you prefer to do it that way. So that's all the scoring done, and now we just need to do a bit of folding. So just making sure you find your score lines, and I'm going to use my paper folder, but I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want to spoil that nice paper. You don't have to do that at all. You can just use your fingers, but because I'm going to be putting corners in, I do want to press it down just gently. And then on the other side, fold and burnish gently those two score lines there as well. Come on. And I'm just making sure that my edges all line up before I press it down. There we are. So that's all the the folding and the scoring done. So this is going to be the bottom of the box, and these are going to come up like this to make the front and the back. So like we did before, we're back to having these sides here, the 3-inch sides that we folded in. You want them to be left and right, and that 2-inch section, the side where we scored it at 5 inches both sides, we want that to be running horizontally. So make sure that you've got your paper facing this way around. Excuse me, I think it's time for a cup of tea. I filmed a couple of videos on the hop, and I'm losing my voice, which is something that I've had since I had COVID, so I do excuse myself. So we want to bring this fold here over to meet this fold here. I managed to get some glue on there already. I'm not even done any gluing with this project, so I'm going to put my paper folder just in that corner to help it to crease right in the corner. And like we did the last time, we're bringing these edges over so that they meet. And if I can scooch this over just a little bit, I'm not pressing down on this bit on the inside yet. It'll bend, but I don't want to fold in it yet until I'm happy where these edges are here. Once I'm happy with that, and again like we did before, just a fraction of a millimetre inside that, we want this edge to be a fraction of a millimetre inside this edge here to make sure that there's no gaping or no overhang. Once I'm happy, I'm just going to press down gently with my finger excuse me, and then take my bone folder and reinforce that. Okay, and we're going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to again bring this fold here over to this fold here and just keep it a fraction of a millimetre inside, and you can use your fingernail if you want, that also works. And just bring, if you can see that, those edges over, but not right one on top of the other. Once I'm happy with where I've put that, I'm then going to press that down with my finger and use my paper folder or your bone folder to crease that. So the same again on the other side. Hold it in the corner however you prefer. Fold it down to the edges meet and press that down, and then just exactly the same on this last side here. There we are. I know you can't see because it's bending over, but I'm just doing that last corner with my paper folder, and now essentially we've got our bag. And again, I'm going to pop those edges out the way rather than in the way. So all I want to do now is embellish it a little, or step it up a little. So what I'm going to do before I tie it together with a ribbon, I'm going to round the corners on here, keeping it folded. So I'm going to bring in my trio punch, my detailed trio punch, and I'm going to use the corner rounder part here. And because this is all folded, I don't need to, I'm going to do it this way around, I don't need to hold it together. You can glue it down if you want, but this is a no cut, no glue bag, so I do apologise if the tripod shakes a little when I round the corner. And I'm just going to do that on all 4 corners. I think I've got my desk too close, or my table too close to the radiator because it's rattling a little bit. Pop that in. Make sure you've got it lined up against both of those edges. There we are. And last one. Okay, so that's already stepped it up a little bit because we've rounded those corners. And all I want to do now, this I only punched one hole using my crocodile, but on this bag I'm actually going to punch 2 holes so that I can have the bow on the front of my bag here. So what I want to do, like I did before, is I want to grab my bulldog clip once I've lined these edges up. I want to just make sure that I hold that together for now. In fact, what I'll do, I think, is I'll measure it first. So I'm going to come down to this edge where you can see it. So if I get my ruler, probably the easiest way to do it, because it's a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I know that this is 6 inches for this middle panel here. So all I want to do is mark where I want to line it up for punching a hole. Now I want to see how far into my trio punch it will go. So that's quite far in, so I want to make my marks round about here. So if I take that back to there, and I'm going to use a erasable pen so that I can rub it out afterwards. Or will I? No, because you have to lean a bit harder. I'm going to go back to using my pencil. So I want to make a mark at 2 inches and at 4 inches, just so that I can line that up in my punch, and I'm going to do that on both sides. So those marks, I came down, oh gosh, can't even find them now. There we are. Oh my goodness, I came down about 2 inches. So if I come down, I'm going to use my grid paper just to line up my ruler. So about there, that's down about 2 inches, and again I'll rub these out, but as you can see I couldn't find them as soon as I turned my paper around anyway. So a mark here and a mark here. I might do that across the way because you can't really see it. And then I'm going to use the hole on my trio punch. So again, you only need 1 punch to do the whole bag, because you've got your corner rounder and you've got a hole punch as well. And we've got a line here, so that helps you to line it up where you want to put your holes. So I'm going to make sure that I don't catch anything as I put this into the punch, and I'm going to punch one side at a time. And what I want to do is really look at it from above. So I want to look down on it and line this groove up with this line here. So I am going to have to turn it a little bit so that I can see that, and holding on to that, I'm going to punch just like that. And again, I'm going to line it up again where that line is, making sure that I've got nothing sticking out, and punch. Took a chance there holding it in my hands, but it worked. So try doing it side on so that you can maybe see that a little bit better. Popping that into the punch, making sure I'm not catching anything, and I'm lining this groove up with this line here. So that is about there, and I'm just going to press down. There we are. And the last one, now this was the line that I couldn't find, I think. There it is there. And I'm just going to hold on to that. Oh, and all my papers just decided to fall over. I wondered what that noise was there. There we are. If it's not exact, it really doesn't matter. So now I've got my corners rounded and come on bag, my holes punched for my ribbon, and that's fairly even, so I managed to mark those really quite well. Once the ribbon's in, you won't see if those holes don't completely line up or not. So one more thing I want to do before I tie my ribbon in is I want to make a little tag to match. So I've already stuck a piece of our adhesive sheets onto a matching piece of the designer series paper, and I'm just going to mount that onto a piece of thick basic white cardstock if I can get the backing off. Oops, there we are. Okay, so I just want to stick that down, and I've deliberately made my piece of cardstock a little bit bigger than my DSP just to make life easier for myself. So I want to make sure that I've got that really well stuck down. Give it a good press on the back. Using a paper folder just to make sure that's really well stuck. And I'm just going to use a punch to make a tag, and because it's a pretty bag, and I guess because Valentine's Day is coming up, I'm going to use the scalloped heart punch. Again, a product from the annual catalogue. Now excuse me, you can decide if you want it a particular way or not. I think that for me looks quite even, and I've got a bit of everything in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and punch that. And it's a bit of a harder punch because you're cutting through the DSP and the cardstock, but that's me now got a tag for my bag that I can write on. And I'm just going to attach that to my ribbon once I've decided which ribbon I'm going to use. So there are a couple of gold ribbons in the annual catalogue at the minute, and we've got the gold shimmer ribbon, which I think will look really pretty against that. Or we've got this one here, and this is the fine art ribbon, which has got a gold shimmer as well. So I just need to decide which ribbon I want to use, and I would be happy with either of those, but I think I'm going to go with the gold shimmer for this particular bag. Excuse me, I do apologise. So what I want to do is I want to punch a hole in here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it with this or not. Let me just check if that's... No, can you see? Because of the loops on the top of the heart, we've still got a bit of that gap there. So the other option we have is not to put it right in the middle, but to put it on the edge of one of these. So that's what I'm going to do because we're keeping it simple. So I think I just want to make sure that my punch puts the hole kind of centrally. So I'm going to make a mark, and then I'm going to put that into my trio punch and press it down until I'm happy where that is. Turn it over, holding on to that, and I've just moved it, haven't I? Punch. And again, it's a bit of a harder punch because I'm going through designer series paper and the adhesive sheet and the cardstock on the back, so I'm happy enough with that. I've got a bit of a fluffy edge, but that's okay, I'm not too worried. And I'm just going to rub out the remaining bit of pen, so there we are. And hanging on the bag, that's probably going to look a little bit nicer anyway. So without cutting the ribbon for now, I'm going to pop this through. Just going to cut that at an angle to help to do that. So bringing my bag back together and grabbing my helpful clip, I'm going to pop my ribbon through that side and back through this side. So I'm going from front to back and then back through to the front. I'm going to make sure that it's not folded over here. I don't want a huge amount back through, but I do want to keep my tails a bit longer, I think. So I'm going to allow myself plenty like I did before, and then I'm going to cut that off. And then before I tie the knot, I'm just going to pop this end through my heart tag, and I'm not going to worry about the placement of my tag right now. I'm going to keep it out of the way until I've tied my bow, so wish me luck. So to tie it here and try and get it in the middle between the two. Punched holes, and then bring it round and through, and once it's done I'm not going to mess about with it too much, so I'm just going to pull that knot tight, and then I'm going to bring my heart tab down. I do apologise if I slightly went off camera there. Probably could have tied that a little bit tighter, but I'm not gonna worry too much. I just want my bow to sit a bit flatter, so I'm going to pull them through just a little bit, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to keep slightly longer tails on this one because why not? It's a lovely ribbon, so let's show it off. And that's my stepped up version of that very same gift bag, and again not using very much stuff at all. So if I bring in the original two, very basic, very simple, but no less pretty, and my stepped up version with posher paper, a prettier ribbon, or a different pretty ribbon I should say, because these ribbons are both pretty, and a little gift tag as well with the cardstock on the back that you can write on. So that's my plain and simple bags and my stepped up version as well. I do like the rounded corners on there, but I'm not saying that I don't like my square corners either, because they're all nice as far as I'm concerned. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you did. A thumbs up would be great, and I'll pop a reminder of the metric measurements underneath in the description bar below. So thanks again for watching. If you've not already subscribed, I would love you to subscribe to my channel, and if you click on the bell you'll be notified of any other videos that I post in future. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. I do hope you go and make one yourself now. Do let me know if you do, and I'll see you again very soon. So until then, take care. Bye bye.